we are still the refugees, asylum seekers, the victims of what happened in Girgarish. Today we have come here to address our plights, what we have been subjected to, the negligence from the UNHCR and its commission against these vulnerable people that you see. We expected so much from the UNHCR in Libya. We expected so much from the UNHCR and Chief of Mission during the raids and after the raids. We expected them to announce and to call for a state of emergency to solve the situation. But this never happened. Jean Paul, we know that he had no capabilities to evacuate everyone, but he never told the world that these are in a state of emergency. He never announced this. He continued to neglect these people, and he continued to identify different people in different greener locations that they are the most vulnerable. He schedules them for evacuation and resettlement. How does he define vulnerability? We know that we are vulnerable. Why? Because when you look at these women today, they are victims of torture. They are victims of rape. They are victims of sexual harassment. These kids that you see here, they are bastards. Some of them are bastards because when these women are in prison, they are raped by the Libyans. And then they give birth to them. They sleep in the street. When this attack happened, people ran to the UNHCR Commission seeking protection, but they never arrived. They only aggravated our anger. They only aggravated our plights. People are abandoned in precarious situation. We are piled up in the middle of flood. It rains and there are no solutions. How does he address vulnerability of people if he cannot look at these women, if he cannot look at these sick people in the background, if he cannot tell the world that we have a state of emergency, we need help, if he is not calling on host countries, if he is not calling on his donors to tell them that the situation in Libya for refugees and asylum seekers is uncontrollable, as we see. People are dying, and the people who commit this crime against these vulnerable women are not being held accountable. Why is this happening? We keep on asking them. You have seen the documents in the background here. He keeps on denying that these people are not registered. We are registered, and the document that we bear with his name on it, Jean Paul Cavarelli, it is not respectable in Libya. And today we know that Libya has a state, Libya has a nation, is not ready to receive us, is not ready to welcome us back into their society. On the 10th of October, Musa Al-Khoni, he came live on a live conference, in a press conference, and apologized on behalf of all the Libyan citizens. He said the following day, people who have been arbitrarily detained, people who were kicked out of their homes in Girgarish, will be released. What have happened so far? Thousands of people are still held up in inhuman detention centers. In Al-Mabani, in Tariq Sika, in Shahrizawiya, in Gharian, in different unofficial detention centers, where they are subjected into tortures, humiliations, grave human rights violations. Pregnant women, other ladies are being sexually violated. They are being raped. So far, today we know that UNHCR have advocated to secure the release of 115 individuals. Where are the rest? If Libya is willing to receive us back into their community, they should stop arbitrarily arresting people in the street, people who try to go and find jobs. They still arrest them today and detain them. They extort them. Libya have not shown any sign of solidarity to come and compromise, to come and underline the difficulties that refugees are facing as humans. They are not giving us the protection that we so much seek. These women, how can they go today back to the street when they have nothing? UNHCR does not guarantee their protection. Jean Paul does not guarantee their protection and safety once they go back to the Libyan society. Libya said we cannot, because they did not sign and ratify the 1951 Refugee Geneva Convention. They did not do, and they are not willing to do. At the same time, the blockers, at the same time, the users. We know that we are the hidden workforce in Libya, and we contribute a lot to the Libyan economy. But this is not enough. They still want control over our bodies, over the bodies of our women. They rape them, and they have no right to talk about it. They kill them, and they have no right to talk about it. The international community is looking and it's bearing witnesses to this. A lot of documentation, things with evidences. These people have not been held accountable. Why is Libya not being held accountable? This is the question to the world. Why are we being failed? These people, if you see them today on the media, if they cross this door with a demonstration, they want to tell the world that they are the most vulnerable people. If UNHCR should schedule evacuations out of Libya, it should be for them, not people who live in Tajura, not people who live in Absalim. It is for the people who sleep in the street for 60 to 80 days. 2 months, 2 consecutive months, people have been sleeping hungrily with hungry tummies. They don't have access to health care. They have limited access. They barely survive. They live as if they do not exist. But it is just the life is there. They cannot take their own lives. He's blaming these people. Psychosocial support have not been provided to them. How does he address someone who was in his sleep? He got attacked, and few hours then he got arbitrarily detained, he got hindered, he got tortured. He has not been provided with food. A week later, the person escapes from the prison, comes to the commission that is supposed to provide assistance to the person, and then he is not met with. People have developed some unusual behavior. When we say unusual behavior, that means you cannot come and talk to them, telling them what you can do and what you cannot do in a way that they do not understand. You cannot send your armed guards to come and tell them, go away, and you expect them to cooperate with you. People have developed mental problems. People who have been in the prisons, they know they have lost everything. They lost access to what they have gathered in so many years, for what they have strived for while in the Libyan territories. We call on the international community today to intervene. These people you see, these women are not criminals. How did they survive 68 consecutive days? They have not been given the necessity of life. People continue to denounce our vulnerabilities. Okay, if UNHCR, if Jean Paul is denouncing the vulnerability of these women, how does he expect the host countries to receive us? He claims that there are no countries that is willing to take this mass or large number of people. It is because he's not telling his donors, he's not telling international community to intervene. He is not addressing the emergency that he has in Libya. He is not addressing the challenges that he is facing as an organization. He is not advocating, he is not approaching the Libyan government to respect the document that he gave to the asylum seekers and refugees. This has to stop. We have to be frank. UNHCR have not been transparent in addressing the issues that we face. UNHCR is failing us because it's not working for our benefit. It's working for different benefits, because when we came to them, we were most vulnerable. We held meetings with them. We asked them to offer us temporary accommodation. The Libyan authorities say they are not willing to offer these women temporary accommodation before a durable solution is found. UNHCR also says the same, that they cannot offer us accommodation in the urban areas. What do? The cash assistance that they provide to people. Okay, let's say the money that they provide, the value is not enough to rent, to feed, and to cater for children. Families, the money that they provide, they cannot go back to the Libyan society, rent, pay for food and other stuff, and at the same time live peacefully in the Libyan society without being extorted, without being harassed, without being detained arbitrarily, without being killed. For these reasons, people are just tired. If you ask these women today, what is their wish? They only long for protection, for safety, for their dignity to be respected. It is not necessary Europe that they should be taken to. Each one of us here just longs for safety. It is not necessary America. It is not necessary other continent. We just need safety. So it is upon the receiving countries, it is upon the host community that have to decide. People shedding tears, women are dying, people are dying, we are losing our dreams, people are going crazy, people are developing mental and usual problems. And they are not being met with the assistance that they so much deserve. We continue to denounce the negligence of UNHCR. We continue to denounce this. We continue to denounce the funding of the Libyan Coast Guard. They have spoken on this several times. Musa Al-Koni, when he came on a live press conference, he said that his country, his Libya, the Libyan authorities is not willing to receive people intercepted on the sea, return to Libya again and be detained. But this is not happening. There is nothing that have been implemented so far. It's just a kind of deception. When he came to the media and apologized, we were happy. We felt like, okay, the Libya society is willing to receive us back again in a good way, in a good manner, and to start a new beginning, to give us a new space to nourish and develop ourselves, to regain what we lost. But this is not happening. No Libyan landlord is willing to rent to these women if we have money today, if we have been given assistance that UNHCR is offering. No Libyan is willing to rent to these people, to the tenants. So that means Libya is not safe for us. Libya is not willing to host us anymore. Libya is not caring about our situation. Libya is not respecting our rights. Libya is not protecting our lives. We continue to call for evacuations. This is the only cause that we are here. It is the cause that we fight towards. It is the cause that we call on the international community to intervene towards. We call on all different entities, the donors, to underline the problems and find a durable solution and trajectify in a safe way that these people can be channeled the assistance that they so much deserve. We know we have been subjected to so many things that we cannot tell throughout the history. These women you see here have been detained so many times. People have been imprisoned. We just want to put an end to this, and we will continue to call on the international community. We continue to call on the UNHCR to cooperate with us. Their unwillingness to cooperate with us shows when they close the CDC. People who so longed, people who so wished to be assisted, people who were crying, who were bleeding, people who were sick, and when they escaped from the prison, they went to the CDC, which is the community day center. They had no right, if they so willed, to help us, to close their door and say, we cannot help you. These people were not vulnerable. Different protesters were preventing other vulnerable people from accessing their building. How does that sound? How does a protester, a vulnerable person, pretend or prevent other one from entering to the building? This never happened. We just need to be transparent. These lies going on social media, the publication going on their websites have to be ended. This have to end. We need reality. We need solutions that can be reasonable. People are sleeping in the weather condition with a very, very poor situation. Barely surviving, as I am going to repeat this again. How does he think, Jean Paul today, when he sleeps in a very good apartment with all the necessities that he needs to live on? Well, looking at women, well, looking at children. How does he feel? Okay, he feels like he's just doing his job. There are no available countries that can host these people. Because he is not talking. He is not addressing the reality. He is not telling the international community the truth, that he has emergency situation. He has emergency crisis of refugees in Libya. This is not happening. Jean Paul, today we call on you for the last time that you have to cooperate with us. You have to work for the interest of these women. You have to listen to them. They must be listened to, both by the UNHCR, by the Libyan authority, by the international community, by the donors, by the Italian authorities, by the French authorities who are contributing to this. They have contributed so much that we know today we are in a very deep hell that is taking us so long to wake up from. We have been subjected to nightmares of tortures, of grave human rights violation. This has to end, and we will continue to be here because we need safety. We do not feel protected well in the Libyan society. And thank you.